Peace and Black Power. It's your brother Knowledgeable Novel here, live, day one, 31 days of masterful content. Okay? Masterful content in the month of May. So we're dealing with a bunch of things. Right? So we're going to start with this knowledge degree, right? The purpose behind Uber Knowledge Radio. Ever wanted to know why I started this platform? We're going to get a little bit of that this week. And some of these things, throughout the month. So stick with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
In 1992, I met a brother by the name of I Civilized from Neptune, New Jersey. Mr. Atlas, my name considered carry advocator. Principally drawing lines as effective as the equator. The curator of enhanced data, fluent narrator. With the potency of a power plant's generator. I'm born powerfully known by my nation's nomenclature. Born and raised in the same city as naughty by nature. With dicky suits, machetes, and bats with indicators of rapid fire patterns from certified gladiators. I studied Coogee rap and KRS through adolescence. Kane, Rakim, Allah plus wise intelligence is presence. Then embodied my self-style wisdom of manifesting. Now me, I got crew, kids, 7 in the crescent. And universal sham got a law, created my flag. We unlock master for raw lessons with supreme math. I'm training to be rewarded for 4 devils. For the promise of freedom as long as we breathe and don't settle. Have you not heard that your word shall be bond regardless to whom or what? Yes, my word is bond and bond is life. And I will give my life before my word shall fail.
Wake up every morning, you want my succeed. 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 Nationwide rockers make the world stampede.
Peace to the minister, Ali, Jakim, Allah, for raising my educator, righteous life, Allah. In the fine mist, the naked I can hardly detect. We've assembled components for warriors to connect. Victoriously elect the glorious BKF. Defense strategists for slavery's descendants to the death. You take hysterical breaths, I calmly sever your best. A more than credible test, I'm quintessentially fresh. May I suggest, take time, fine tune your reps. It's now nation to end, supreme alphabets. Universal sham got a law, created my flag. You dropped yours to be with the Sunni, you confuse me. And if the civilized doesn't perform their duty, the self-savior lesson says there's a severe penalty. So I move accordingly. The knowledge build destroy degree gives us a metrics to rule our circumference. Most importantly, what is the meaning of civilization? One having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, and is not a savage in the pursuit of happiness. Teach God.
Wake up every morning, you want my succeed. 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 Nationwide rockers make the world stampede.
The anointed queens rub dabs of salves on my calves, my shoulders, my necks, and my abs. After running my bath, the remedies they.
So what you call as Buddha's way is just one aspect as to how a human being can attain to his peak. And he explored the path of awareness, which is one aspect. It's very unidimensional, but the significance of Gautam Buddha is very scientific, clinical. He appeals to the logical mind.
Beneath major storms, the ice age was scorned. Glaciers warm, cuneiforms, megalithic rocks with black faces on. Big heads and ziggurats, royal babies are born. Black queens bathe in ponds. The ruler strong, no unicorns, just human loins that's super strong. Life, music, and songs. Mike in my palm, I write a beautiful psalm. And Ecclesiastics, all I needed was practice. Most of our leaders was backwards. The truth seeker became a teacher of blackness. A speaker to addicts, made them free up their habits. And I wasn't a preacher, I was in the street as a savage. I cleaned up with mathematics. I was young as King Tut with the tablet in front of Atten. My son of man script, y'all take priests, give us Barabbas. Blessed be the meek, the streets they shall inhabit. The seller, I buy your gold, give you a planet. To Nebula, let us go, rockets forever, not landing. The astronaut shot from a cannon. And won't stop till I'm at the top, panoramic scenery. Then work the mic like mechanics work machinery. Now a Biggie chant sung supremely, kingly. Fire around the camp look priestly, like genies. Feathers in their hats and their teepees. Magic formulas, ointments, some cream, sunbeams on the young kings, the anointed. Queens rub dabs up salves on my calves, my shoulders, my necks, and my abs. After running my bath, the remedies they craft, then give me my staff. Their wizardry with nectars, ministry to Nebula, concoctions, decoctions, and potions, tinctures, solvent powder, and lotions. Masterful. Understanding priest rapping calls is like a lecture from Manly P. Hall with the collection of Stan Lee's catalog. It's all connected in camouflage like a ghost in the fog. To understanding God, jackals that surrounded a hog ended up on castles and pyramid walls. Anubis, nucleus, to a Rubik's, a rulers. Priests talk to the world after computers.
Shout out to the Iron Soft hip hop, the one and only Killer Priest, and the Mark of Buddha. The Mark of Buddha. So yeah, let me get into this story. Okay. Get into this story on the website donotsradio.com. When I first started doing Not Radio, I was on track to deal in the realm of black psychology. I was in school at the time, going for my associates in social service and mental health. What was that? 2014 into 2015. Yeah, around that time. I just retired from the military, so I was looking to get in school and to do something, find something that I was passionate about. I thought it was, black psychology. And I found out during the program that it wasn't it. It wasn't it for me. I did what I had to do, but I didn't like it. So when I looked at forming this platform, shout out to my brother YG Preach. I see him with the Preach Perspective. He's doing a lot of great work on the internet. Him and I were in Washington State at the time, and we were working in the community. It was like, how can we reach more people? So I said we could do something on the internet, right? Me talking and suggesting to do something on the internet. At the time, I was listening to Michael Imhotep African History Network and Know the Ledge, listening to it, via my phone. Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever it was, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, however the cycle went. I was listening to KTL and I was listening to Michael Imhotep African History Network, and they were using Blog Talk, unbeknownst to me, right? So I would just call in and listen, or listen on my computer, however it was. And you always get great information, always get great guests, all kinds of things. So there was a time where there was a void. Michael Imhotep was on 7 days a week. He was doing all kinds of different shows, all kinds of stuff at the time. So he was doing that. Red and Blue uh, had did all of their shows, and they were doing something else. So in the mix of that, I was like, we could do something like that. And Preach was like, yo, if you do that, that's on you. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of how it started. Look, y'all getting me into the books and all that real quick, but I'm gonna read what I wrote back in 2014, 2015 time frame. The show actually started August 29th of 2015. So in the 11th year of Do the Knowledge Radio. And I'll say why in a second, but let me read the mission statement that I wrote. Do Knowledge Radio was established to provide an unbiased and objective platform to speak to the psychodynamic trauma experiences, social ills, maladies, and calamities affecting the current reality of Black people in America and Africans of the diaspora around the globe. That's a long sentence right there. Could tell I was in that social service, mental health, paper writing modality back then. Okay, so I'm looking at the social dynamics and wanted this to be a global platform that is far reaching, wherever Black people are, anywhere in the world. Right. So our mission is to provide a holistic, solution-based media outlet offering with practical application properties through a social engagement that is delivered through an African-centered lens. Another long sentence. Boy, I'm telling you. So holistic, solution-based. Got to look at that and see if that's still it because I didn't give a solution out here. I gave option. It should have been a holistic, options-based media outlet. What practical application? I didn't want people to leave the platform and not have any realm of practicality to be able to put. We theorize great, we dream great, but in the application space of what we do a poor job in the application space from my perspective as a collective. Right. So practical application properties through a social engagement that is delivered through an African centered link. So, that was the goal. The goal, the aim, the objective in that way. Now let me keep reading over here. Our vision is to build a coalition of astute critical analysts who seek to aid in the advancement towards a collective African liberation mindset and a cultural identification through physical, mental, spiritual, social, economic, political realignment, dialogue. So all of these aspects, right? All of these aspects, connecting with those who are astute and critical thinkers and people from that perspective. That's who we're looking to partner with and everything. Boy, it's been a minute since I've read this thing. Dopeness. We have dialogue consistent with the values, norms, and behaviors congruent with African ancestry. Student House Radio presents its brand identity and delivers on its brand promise of giving a voice of the voiceless and restoring empowerment to the perceived powerless among both continental and Africans of the diaspora. Student House Radio. place for now to explore. It's my mission statement. That's my brand promise. You understand what I'm saying? That's my brand promise. That's crazy. I'm telling you. So I was in a lot of uh, psychology and sociology classes at the time, and also business classes at the time. So this is a through line of what's still running rampant nowadays. This was the mission statement. This was the vision statement. This was the sort of branding aspect that was here that put all of these things together. So August 29th is the day that I chose for a couple of reasons. My little sister is born on August 29th. Michael Jackson is born on August 29th. And it's in Black August. So it just worked all the way around for all of the different reasons. I wanted to celebrate my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, all of my ancestral lineage, and those from my family dynamic in that way. So this is a platform that is dedicated to them and their lives, and then all of the listeners who will come. So the structure was and is that this platform is a guest centered platform. I'm the host and the founder and whomever and whatever, but I didn't make this platform about me. I know some people they tune into certain platform for the host and his antics or her antics, but I really wanted this to remain guest centered, right? So it's about the guests, it's about the people that are coming to present, it's about the people in the audience. Also, when I first started, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Might even stream a little bit of the first episode just so y'all can hear, what was going on. Literally, I wanted two aspects of the show. I wanted to show where the people call in and they promote their business, they promote themselves, they promote their brand, they promote their organization, they promote their book, whatever the case may be from the audience, right? And then, it would be centered around the guest. And again, like I said, I'll deal with that tomorrow more in depth. So I wanted a platform that was reminiscent of the community that I grew up in. I grew up in the conscious community. My father and my mother both taught there. They help people get off drugs. They help people get out of gangs and prostitution and all kinds of things. And my mother helped people, build up their immune system and rid their bodies of toxins, rid their bodies of all kinds of things, all of the maladies, right? So I wanted to be able to share their story. You hear about the big names, but there are a bunch of people behind the big names, right? So I wanted to speak to them. I wanted to give them a voice. I wanted to give them light and credence, whether they were physically here or if they were in the realm of our ancestors. So a voice and credence to the light of our ancestors, our elders, our peer group, our youth, and our tomorrow people all together in one space. So again, not host centered, guest centered platform with something of worth and value for your mind, for your heart, for your body, for your spirit. You understand what I'm saying? You could hear something that could spark you and then give you some practical application to go along with that. Rhetoric is great, but the application of it is greater. So, different perspectives, different spiritual walks of life, religious walks of life, all kinds of things, right? We're not a monolith. So I wanted to express all of the variances So we brought together people from all over the world, literally all over the world. You know, you have people from the continent, people from the UK, people from Amsterdam, people the Netherlands, people from everywhere on across the globe. Come and share their experiences, and people from right here. Everybody, from the neighborhood and the like. So in this 4,000 or more episode series of Through House Radio over these past 11 years, we literally talked to a bunch of people. You understand what I'm saying? Talk to a bunch of people, partner with a bunch of good black people, and allow them the space to be able to share their stories. I'm a story seeker, that turned into a storyteller. And what I figured out with all of the lives that I lived, something about the story was something that intrigued me, not only from a seeking perspective, but from a telling perspective. So both of the worlds combined together, all of the lives that I lived, in this one existence. So how it deals in the realm of hip hop, how it deals in the realm of black psychology, how it deals in the realm of military training. We had disaster relief and survival programs on this platform for a decade. General King Samir Shabazz of the Khalid Muhammad militia taught black survival here for a decade. And, you know, disaster relief and how to bug out, bug in, everyday carry items that are necessary for you to be able to be out and travel and all of those things, like everything. And I was working in Graniteville, South Carolina, and my children were in North Carolina, and they was able to survive a hurricane based off of what we taught in regards to black survival without me being physically present. So there's a bunch of things that we learned and taught over the years in that regard, and I'm very proud that we were able to reach as many people as we did with the time that we had. Blog Talk is no longer, but there's still some places where you can stream, you know, some of the episodes of Blue Nile Radio. I think maybe 1,000 or 1,200 episodes somewhere on Spotify and another platform. When I converted over to Spotify and some of these other ones, some of these episodes I couldn't convert to. So, but there, some of them are available. Some of the great ones, I was going back listening through the archives, and I was like, man, we did some great work, did some great shows. Shout out to Killer Priest and the Killer Priest Podcraft. Sophia Stewart was over there. I had a 4-hour interview with Sophia Stewart. It's still up. It's still available, right? And Papa Wu, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Some great stories about life, and some great stories with people about their life. And one of the things that I'm proud of is to have been some of the people who have come on this platform, their first interview ever. So uh, by the end of it, everybody was happy. They was excited. They were looking for other opportunities to share their story. So you had all kinds of people that come through here: uh, rappers, singers, dancers, poets, comedians, uh, and just great black people overall. Wanted to have a safe space and a sacred space for black people to go. You might have platforms with people doing blackface, but it's not the same. It's not. the same. So again, my goal was aligned with the mission, right? Killer Priest and Timbo King were guests here as well. Kai Zodiac was a guest here as well. Ty Phoenix, you start thinking about, you know, these people you go from, listening to them to working with them. All of these things happen based off of this platform. I've traveled across the United States and out of the country based off of this platform. Met people from everywhere, groups of people from around the globe. Brothers and sisters who left America from Chicago and the surrounding areas over 50 years ago to repatriate back to Africa. They left and went from Chicago and the surrounding areas to Liberia. Then they went from Liberia to Israel. And that's where they've been. That's where they've raised their families for the last 5 decades. The only platform that they felt worthy of some of their story was this platform. It was Doodle Knobs Radio. So literally Voice of Zion Radio was happening on Doodle Knobs Radio. The only outlet that they saw and that they heard was like, okay, we're gonna, we want to come on your platform and share, our stories. So just imagine that, right? The Hebrews of ISUPK, the Hebrews from everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? They came through here. AOC, all of that. So the Christians, the Muslims, the Moors, the Wabians, atheists, Pan African, foundational Black American, however you identify yourself to be, they all came through here. They all came through here. They all came through here and shared their story. So just think of the solace that goes along with something you had in your thought space. And, like I said, I'll get into episode 1 tomorrow, and kind of continue to build on this throughout this first week of May. And, I invite everybody to do something daily, do something, share an aspect of yourself, share an aspect of your mindset, your skill set, whatever it be, throughout the month of March. Once a day, do something once a day that is beneficial to another person. Use your skills, your talents, your gifts, your story to uplift someone else. So that's a challenge that I issued to myself. And speaking with one of my spiritual advisors earlier, she was talking to me about being more personal. And I laughed. I'm like, nah. But that's what, my ancestral force is being and propelling me to do. So this next 30 days or 31 days of May, y'all will get some more personal sort of aspects for me in addition to some of the other guests and their stories as well. So I'll be more personal throughout this time. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about today. But once I get into the flow of the shows, let me look on the website real quick. I don't do this a lot. I don't do the website thing enough. I don't think so. We go look real quick. You'll just see some of the people who have graced this platform. All right. So we did a physical event in Dallas and Houston in 2019, Becoming Unbreakable. I looked at the film Unbreakable, and we decided to take that on the road. So my sister, my bae, was in the building. Tahir RBG, the greatest of all time. And KT the Arts degree, we did something in Dallas, and we did something in Fort Worth, right? So right before the pandemic was in full swing. So just even thinking about that in a couple of days, that'll be 7 years ago. 7 years ago. So dealing with these things from the virtual space to the physical space. So when I met Tahir RBG on my platform, I had Lone Star RBGs on, and he called in for support. And the funny thing about it was I had just played one of his songs. Did a little commercial break, played one of his songs, and then when I came back, he's on the phone. So I'm freaking out, like, oh man, Tahir RBG, dead press, blah blah blah. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, we got to do something together, and we did some things together, and this was one of them, one of many things. So there's nothing like being on the road with your heroes and winning, right? So my cousin, if y'all don't know, Tommy Ham, and one of my brothers from the neighborhood, Young Duke, was his manager at the time. And they came through, show love. If y'all ever seen him battle rap before battle rap figured out how to pay people, all of the stuff that's happening now. But he was one of the originals, Epicenter, him, O Solo, and so many others. My man too, like Pip James. Yeah, shout out to Pip James and all of the fam. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's great building with my cousin. He was in 8 Mile. He was on the Source Awards with Mob Deep. You know, great dude, ill spitter, ill writer. So he had the fam on. My brother, Chairman Jabari Natur, was in the building. You understand? Reality Speaks. Uh, Dynamic brother and his family is phenomenal. Anybody who was anybody that was a lecturer back in the day came through Reality Speaks and Soul Vibers Nation, in Baltimore. Everybody you could think of. Dr. Khaled, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, C. Coakley, peace and blessing be upon them all. Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, everybody that came through there. They came through that place, and that was a great through line. You know what I mean? So, uh, him, Dr. Maat, Brother Carlos Muhammad, and the General PFK Boom, they were doing an event, a Unified Die event, and I was like, y'all got to come through on the program too. So they came through, showed some love, and that was that. I just shouted him out yesterday on the podcast. My brother Positive K, aka Positive Knowledge of Law. You know what I mean? One of the greats came through on a couple of occasions to show some love. You know what I'm saying? And promote the song he had out at the time. Make it happen. Him and Greg Nice. Dope interview. Dope brother. He's doing stand up comedy as well, in addition to continuing to make great hip hop music. So showing some love. my brother Rasset, Amin Rasset, Planet Africa Network back in the day. One of the first real folks out on the Pacific Northwest to, kind of latch on, and we did a bunch of collabs together, and this is one of them. You Legendary Cocaine came through and gave an amazing, amazing story about Death Row, Ruthless Records, all of that stuff from back in the day, the real deal. So definitely dope. Shout out to Almighty Amon Set for this interview and for the interview with the legendary Sad Town rapper Queen Marvelous. You understand? So of course y'all know who this is right here. Y'all know who this is right here. I ain't soft for hip hop, the one and only Killer Priest. Him and Timbo King came through. You know, we've been rocking ever since. Again, right? So the first DJ of Public Enemy, the one and only Johnny Juice, gave me one of the greatest masterful stories of the birth of hip hop in the Bronx. The true story, not the one that's agreed upon by everybody. So it was dope. It was excellent. I was excited, amped up. I had him one day, and then I had Pop Wu, rest in peace, the next day. So that weekend was packed. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. Many of us wouldn't be here without him. He's our BJ Rock McDaniels of this, day and time and what he does and how he does what he does. So he gave quite a few interviews and just came through on the love, every time. Every time he came through on the love. So definitely dope individual, great stories, and a truth teller, right? Dr. Oyamai and her family formed Ed Anime Productions, and they came out with Meltrek. So Meltrek is a animated series, dedicated to teaching history, you know, everything. Like my children loved these DVDs when they were young. It was part of their curriculum. So I had her family on, and they shared their story. The people who did the voiceovers for the characters in the show, dynamic show. My AI like you, the priest, 144,000. Came through showing love, and like I said yesterday, y'all see it right there. The mother of the Matrix and Terminator right here, Sophia Stewart, Ray Student House Radio with her presence. Almost like a 4-hour interview. Amazing mind and an amazing woman. So, Queen Mother, Sophia Stewart. And that's Dr. Monica Lamb talking about being in compliance and, contracts and, Black Biz. This was my Black Biz bestie right here. Understand what I'm saying? Came through tremendous, right? Of course, PFK Boom General, and cleaning up Baltimore. From the streets to the seats, man. 300 gangsters out there working. With the community outreach. We went from the virtual space to the physical space. Went out to Baltimore and seen what it was for real. You understand? So again, this platform has taken me places I wouldn't never thought about. You understand what I'm saying? Not something I could have calculated in my mind from its inception, but we were on the move. On the move. And like I said, Amon said, Jay Dizzle, we had the unsigned hype. We had our own unsigned hype, for artists, poets, MCs, and the like to come on and get their music heard, by the world back then. So I think that was the first series. Mr. Law 44 himself, the Jet Blue Pillar, uh, definitely graced the platform on multiple occasions. This was the first. So I interviewed Red Pill, Blue Pill, KT the Arts Degree, and Mama Pill. So almost got everybody in the family with the exception of True Pill. You know what I'm saying? So the promoter and manager of Positive K, Angela Davis, came through, graced us with a beautiful interview about, her working with different people in the industry and just our own story. It's always dope when you get to share your own story. The grandson of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey has been on this platform. Yeah, that's who that is right there. Cristobal Garvey, proof that Garvey's lineage and legacy lives. Yeah. Man, going through these flyers, huh? You just get to looking, right? Get to looking. My brother Brick the foundation, you know, building the foundations full of bricks. And he was on every Tuesday. If you were a hip hopper, the new music was always released on the Tuesday. So he kept it true to the traditions. A very astute analyst, artist, father, and man. Good brother. Of course, Tahir RBG, the greatest of all time, coming through. Queen Dawn Velez was talking about travel and visions and goals and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? World renowned uh, traveler and, you know, great person came through. Blessed us with some jewels and some game. Dr. Queen T. This was the first true series outside of the Unsigned Hype. Unsigned Hype was the first series, but this was the first true series. And the first true series that was birthed out of someone calling in as a listener to support somebody who came on as a guest. My brother Ron Green and KLX, they were on, and she called in to listen. And she went from, a listener to a guest to having her own series, Black Love and Communication. For a year long. You know what I'm saying? And we did that on Mondays. It's a dope, dope, dope series, right? And she she auditioned for 4 days, I think, like 4 days straight. And every day she came on with different topics and things like that. She brought her family on. I met her mother, I met her father, I met her brother, I met her aunties. You know, she literally brought her family on. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a great opportunity to be able to collab and connect and talk about communication styles and talk about black love of every kind, from the intimate to the platonic. You understand what I'm saying? And, our communication styles and bettering our communication with one another. So definitely dope series. Shout out to Dr. Queen T and her family. This was a series that we started, accountability space, a virtual space to, sort of hash out some of these things that's going on in the community, that's going on with our youth, and we will report back in this accountability space of what we were doing. So, dope. Oh, who's that? Oh, y'all see him again? Timbo King, and who's that over there? heaven raiser. You understand? So he's definitely out here working. Working. Oh, y'all see the flyer? R.I.P. Papa Wu, you know, blessing the platform with an amazing story that I didn't think I did a good job at the time in the moment because uh, I didn't get him. Like he was trying, but I didn't get him. So I didn't think I did a good job at the moment. Until I went back recently and I listened to it and I was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. In the moment, you know, my heart was dismayed because he had just come back from seeing his son in the penitentiary, and as a father, I would have never done it. We could have rescheduled, you know, could have rescheduled, but he still did it, you know, because his word was bond. But I would have liked him to be in a different space. But you know, we got it done, and we were going to do another interview because he was writing his version of the old dirty book. So it was supposed to be a book and a biopic, and he returned to the essence before we got a chance to do that again officially from an interview perspective. But he was always, you know, the true and living God. You understand what I'm saying? So honest to him and his family, you know, for what they gave and continue to give. Now see our brother over there, ill conscious. You know what I'm saying? Uh, dynamic brother, dynamic artist, MC. You know what I mean? Out of Baltimore. So I heard Good Morning Baltimore, and I was like, yo, I got to get brother on, and you know, we was kicking the ballistics. You know what I mean? As I said, Queen Marvelous. You understand what I'm saying? That yay area, right? Shout out to the God, uh, Almighty Amin Raset. You know what I'm saying, for giving me that love right there, Sister Renee. Yeah. Instruction of Black Civilization, and we did Black Psychology Thursdays as well. We did so many things together, and most of these flyers, Sister Renee did for like the first 4 or 5 years of doing Knowledge Radio. She did 99.999% of the flyers. Yeah, so yeah, shout out to Renee Black Graphics. Did so much work with a lot of people over the years. Urban X, Black Dot, and Malcolm. She did there's Professor Griff. She did some things for him. Did a lot of things, and all of my logos. She did 99% of those as well. Salute to Renee, Sister Renee. Ifeoma, she had holistic products and soaps and all kinds of things. She an alchemist with uh, the work that she does in regards to the healing properties associated with all of the tinctures and herbal remedies and soaps and things in that manner that she provides. Amazing sister, great guest. Oh, my Gemini sister, right? The Black Alchemist. What don't she do? Rap, sing, dance, you know, sew, crochet, like all kinds of just a magnificent alchemist, right? So the Black Alchemist. Renee Ashe, salute to my Gemini sister. You know what I'm saying? I see KT Arts degree once again. Uh, one of those trips to St. Croix came through and was telling us about it. Uh, dope stories. my brother, the Sue entrepreneur, Fanim Sue, author of this book, 600 something pages, primary source, remembering Osir. He gave us Cool Kim, Black Light, a spiritual clinic every month. Came through and showed us love, him and his family, and gave us a real inside look into the culture of the Nile Valley, primary source. One of my sisters I served with in the military. Met her at this sacred ground place in Killeen back in 2002, 3, maybe 2003. I would say 2002. Under One Roof Bookstore in Killeen, Texas. Had her on speaking about her life and the things that she was doing as far as, designs and all of that, and just even some of the military life, what that meant. Great guests, amazing stories. Oh, yeah, our own celebrations, right? If you don't celebrate you, nobody else will. So that was that 1,000 episodes milestone mark, right? Just crazy just to even see that. 1,000 episodes. Now it's 4,000. I don't even know the number no more. I just say 4,000 because I don't even know. Can't even count. Brother Gerald Emerson Rose, uh, New Order Human Rights Organization, working with families and people that the human rights have been violated around the globe. Great organization, great people, and a worthy cause. They had Real Talk with New Order over here some years ago, and I met some great people as a result of that engagement. I had a situation with a young lady. She was homeless, I believe, and I called him like 3 o'clock in the morning. Called him like 3 o'clock in the morning. Told me the situation. He found her some place to stay by 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's a testament to people that's out here truly doing the work and making themselves available to the people. Never forget that. Shout out to Gerald Emerson Rose in New Order. Not I, but we. We're celebrating our great giant, African war general, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, who has always been something that we do here on Do the Knowledge Radio. Love for the greats. Ascension as well. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that is it. Yep. Yeah, bird. There we go. That's it. So just some of the flyers, uh, a billion stories, right? And before I leave, just let y'all know we'll be going in depth about episode 1 tomorrow. And episode 1 was what is consciousness. So talk about that in depth. See if I could get some of the people to come through who was on episode 1. You never know. You never know. So it's been a walk down memory lane, and hopefully this was fruitful for you. And looking forward to it. So, like I said, share your gifts with somebody, share your talents with somebody, share your love with somebody. You never know how who you are and what you do affects someone else. Right? So, with that, I'm gonna say peace and love. It's your brother Knowledge Born Law through Knowledge Radio, and we will see you on tomorrow. Okay? We will see you on tomorrow. Tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Peace.
Like we always do about this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My yes. Oh yeah. The black collar giants at risen.
Time to set it straight, you know what I'm saying?
Position.
My God.
This is a warning.
Come next wicked and wild.
Yo, Ambassador O.
Let's do
Set
it.
the record straight,
I'm
Lord.
ready.
I was commissioned by my general to set the record straight, break it down to a single mineral so my people can relate. Yeah, we know about slaves, but what about our great ancestors that built did incredible things at will? You name it, we can claim it. Is it new or is it ancient? Are we the quotient or exponent? Children of the omnipotent. I broke it down, prefix, suffix, so rich and then cluttered. Don't get rid of the confusion and come claim you pick up wrong. Devil's an exception to the rule. I don't have effing time, so the white man's the devil. Yeah, I generalize. If you sincere cracker, then you should empathize and spend the rest of your life to prove it's an effing lie. Stay out the way. In the meantime, we got a clean house. Too much times. She mans and he rides. What happened to the hate rules of both principles? This is not my eye. The situation's critical. I'm willing to expose and dispose of you sick Negroes. Touching our children, creating more sick people. What are we eating? It got us looking old and feeble. No life in dead food got us vibing below. Needed frequency, we cease to see the unseen reality, the esoteric scenery, and seem to be dependent, hell-bent, set up to be sitting up, sucking the devil's titty. We from the lands of milk and honey. I'm not finished, done by a long damn shot. Give me a wall and a chisel, a John Hancock. My signature isn't the written, it's the words that I speak in to put the figure in you, couple with the I continue this assault, catapult lyrics to critics who hope I bite pillows like George the Animal. Still not faggot, this is real. Black power manhood rap with incredible masculine zeal. Ask your lady how she feel. If she honest, you might wanna punch her in the grill. But don't salve out, brother, man up, be a king for that queen. To a real woman, a real man always appeal. I don't eat meat or any byproduct that comes from things that bark, cluck, croak or squeal. If the ingredients read like a chemical equation, it probably is, brother, it probably is. Monosodium glutamate, polysorbate 80, monotriglycerides, you motherfucking crazy. You too vain to breastfeed, what are you feeding your baby? Inoculated with vaccines for you can't get just by bathing. Warming up your food in the micrograving, laptop in your lap, cell phones, radiation. But I'm not here to deliver somber news, cause you know something is wrong. Making it right is what you gotta do. Police still killing us, children in broken homes, brothers better